Okay, folks, grab a seat up front. Is for very special people, and you are all special people. For the next half hour, 30, 40 minutes, we're going to sing some of Danny's and my favorite Debbie Friedman songs and tell you a little bit about her life. This is I don't know if a class, a session. It's not a concert, no applause, just beam your friendliness to us. Okay, great. So you should have a microphone so that you can be equal to me. So here's a little piece of a New York Times, the very sad day when Debbie Friedman passed away. I happen to know her from the time that I was 15. She was 18, back in the 1960s. We'll tell you a little bit about her life in a moment. That is where she's buried, in Orange County, California. And we're going to open with one of her very early iconic songs. It's a psalm. In other words, she wrote a psalm from her own head, but she took themes of the 150 psalms in the book of Psalms and wrote this piece. And when we heard this in 1971 or 72, we had never heard a song like this. The Jewish world had never heard a song.
This dates to exactly the same time period this synagogue was being created.
So, if you happen to know it, please sing along, and if not, enjoy. Pardon?
Sing along anyway, the rabbi was always says.
Yes, but carefully. Sing unto God, sing a new song, oh, sing praises to God, give thanks to God with a song, oh, sing praises to the one above. These have the words that were altered to be gender sensitive in the 1990s. Let us rejoice, all ye righteous, and cry out to our God with joy. Sing out from your hearts, oh, sing praises to God. Bless God's name. Oh, sing unto our God a song of prayer. Sing praises to the one. Sing unto God. Bless God's name. Oh, sing unto our God a song of prayer. Sing praises to the one. Sing unto God. Sing unto God, sing a new song sing unto God, sing a new song sing unto God, sing a new song unto God. Too soon, sing a new song to God. Sing a new song to God.
Jeff, go back to the very first slide. One of the reasons I had to move is I don't know the gender-neutral text of this. I know the way it was written originally, which is, sing unto God, sing a new song, oh, sing praises to God, give thanks to him with a song, oh, sing praises unto the Lord above.
Yeah.
So that's 1971, and it's only in the 1980s that her consciousness changes, and she changes the text.
Yeah, this is a very innovative song in the Jewish folk music world. It had complicated chords, major 7 chords that were hardly ever used. It modulated from the key of A to the key of E, which interestingly Shalom Rav does too. I don't know, it's just a little bit of trivia. And it was not her style, but she was searching for a style. So little Debbie, in her crib in Utica, New York. Debbie graduating high school, never went to college. Debbie never learned to read music. She played everything by ear. She was dyslexic in a time in the late 50s when it was not treated. It was not even recognized. So she never learned to read music and learned everything by ear. But according to her mother, who I knew very well, Debbie could listen to a record or listen to the radio of a classical piece, and then she could sit down at the piano and play it. So she was a musical prodigy, but completely self-taught. And luckily, she went to a Jewish camp and was bored because she was a babysitter at camp. And somebody had a guitar and taught her some guitar chords. And that was the beginning of that. So she became a songwriter. I love her Beatle haircut there. So this is about 1968, 67, 68. And this is now St. Paul, Minnesota, where she lived with her family. This is when I met Debbie. It was a year after I met her. I love this expression. I took this photo with an old camera and found it, and there you have it. As you can see, the guitar was almost as big as she was. But when she got up in front of a group and put out the full force of her personality, energy, charisma, it was extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it, a Martin 12-string guitar. Yes, made about 50 miles north of here in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. You guitar players know the Martin Guitar Factory. And then here you have it, 1972, her first album, Sing Unto God. We won't talk about it or we won't get through all the music, but one of the most important songs on that album was the one that we will sing next, called Thou Shalt Love the Lord Thy God. And we are going to hear Debbie tell Robert Siegel of NPR how she wrote the song.
A melody came to my head as I was sitting on a bus, and I didn't know what to do with the melody because I didn't feel confident in terms of being able to write lyrics. So I set it to the Ve'ahavta, the Thou Shalt Love prayer. And then I taught it to a group of teenagers, and it worked for them. They were able to really get into it. And as I looked at them while they were singing it, they were standing with tears in their eyes, and they were holding on to each other. It was quite moving, and I realized at that point that there was something happening, that there was a need that needed to be filled, and that was how I started.
What I believe is so incredible about this song is she took the Union Prayer Book, that little paperback-sized book that Reformed Jews used from
1895 until
for
1975.
75 years. That was the way Reformed Jews prayed. The book went through minimal changes. The original one, instead of rabbi, said minister, by the way. And as Danny said last night, most of the important parts were sung by the choir.
Rabbi, this version said reader.
Yep, reader, not rabbi. So I have retained the archaic, old-fashioned English prosody because that's what's so special about this song, that she took a male-centric kind of language, with Lord and him, and bended it to her will. She took that paragraph and created a beautiful song, and let's sing it. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart,
With all thy heart,
with all thy soul, and with all of thy might.
with all thy might.
And these words which I command you on this day shall be in thy heart, shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
Unto thy children.
Thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house.
When thou sittest in thy house.
When thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down. And when thou risest up, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt upon thy, what Reformed Jews put on to fill it in 1969, they shall be none that I knew of. Between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates, that he may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. She did change the words, yes, and so I'm the one who's being the obstinate one, changing it back. But I'm changing it back for illustrative purposes. Oh, excuse me, blowing my nose.
Go.
This is not the right time or place, but did you mention, or is there a reason why she did rise up, lies down, and change the order?
Yeah, I think she did change the order, but I don't know why. But we used to say, that doesn't make sense. Is it because of the melody going up or down? I have no idea. Yeah. But it sounds like a folk song. It sounds like a charming little 1960s folk song.
So we want to continue. There are certain melodies that Debbie wrote even early in her career, which didn't disappear from the Reform movement, but spread like wildfire through all sorts of movements, not just liberal movements. So this video is of Debbie's Havdalah melody done by various Orthodox groups around the world.
Ready?
Yeah.
Roll the videotape. The Five Towns. Don't forget the Five Towns. Okay. We're ending in Long Island. Debbie spent a lot of time with children. She loved children, and she loved writing songs for children. And this is one of those aspects of the musical world that Danny and I and Debbie and some others lived in. A lot of our energies actually were directed towards Jewish education, teaching kids basic things. Now, what could be more basic than the Aleph Bet?
I should tell you there's a political reason that we tended towards children's songs also. The American Cantorate and musical establishment in the 1970s went nuts. They hated the stuff that we were writing, that Debbie was writing, and they maligned us and they wanted to ban us from synagogues and the like. On the other hand, the educational world, the religious school directors, the beginning of
They
the
were
Cage
hungry for
conferences,
what we had.
They were hungry for new material in Hebrew and in English that the kids would respond positively to. So we had a built-in audience there that no one pushed back for. So it took a lot longer for our stuff to become normalized in synagogue settings, but it happened very quickly in religious school settings because of the invention of the cassette tape. I do too, but I don't have a cassette player.
So we're going to play you a version. Everybody knows the Aleph Bet song. So Aleph Bet Bet, Aleph Bet Bet, Gimel Dalet Hey, Gimel Dalet Hey. And Debbie did a whole series of songs for the Jewish publishing house called Behrman House in New York. And one of them, what you won't hear today, but you can go to YouTube and hear it, Debbie would write songs for kids that had a little bit of parody, satire, a little bit cheeky. So this song begins, while we're here in Hebrew school, we're going to have some fun and sing the Hebrew alphabet, a song for everyone. It's going to be quite simple, because all you'll have to do is sing the letters after me, then I'll sing after you, and that kind of thing. And I think that attitude, which was very sort of contemporary, ironic, did fuel a lot of the material. So wait till you see this. This is Barney the dinosaur.
Are you ready to do the Hebrew ABC song? Okay, you lead the way.
Aleph, Bet, Bet.
Aleph, Bet, Bet.
Gimel, Dalet, Hey.
Gimel, Dalet, Hey.
Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet.
Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet.
Yod, Kaf, Chav.
Yod, Kaf, Chav.
Lamed, Mem, Nun.
Lamed, Mem, Nun.
Samech, Chayin, Pei, Fei.
Samech, Chayin, Pei, Fei.
Tzadik, Kufresh.
Tzadik, Kufresh.
Shin, Sin, Tav.
Shin, Sin, Tav. Ooh, great singing, kids!
Neither did he.
This was not from the TV show. This was from a concert tape that was put out that I found used on eBay and bought it. Debbie sued the producers of Barney, and they settled out of court. So I can't even tell you what range of damages she earned, but I'm
she
sure
was offended by the color, Barney's color.
I'm sure it was a good payday for writing that simple little song. Okay. Oh, yes. So you'll recognize these two gentlemen here. This is very early in all of our musical careers. Danny and I had just been ordained, Rabbi in Cantor, and Debbie was just starting to achieve some prominence in the Jewish world. And every summer, we would meet at the Coalition for Alternatives in Jewish Education and share our songs and sing together. It was just an amazing time. This is about 1980.
And it was like a deadline that by the August conference every year, you had to write a new song that was going to get very widely distributed.
Yep. Okay.
I'm sorry, we should back up 1 second. It kind of looks like you're sitting in front of our park.
It's not, but where, I don't know, is this New Brunswick?
This is, I think, in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and or it's at Brandeis, one or the other. And yeah, we're just waiting to go on in a concert.
You guys were kids. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, well, I
Well,
still
I
have
just
that
looked at the
guitar.
confirmation class pictures. You were pretty young when you came here, too.
So there are a number of very important themes about Debbie's work and her career, and one of them was she was a liturgical innovator, and not that there's anything too innovative about this version of Oseh Shalom, but it was a turning point for Debbie because this was in the late 80s, I think this song came out, mid-80s perhaps. A lot of Debbie's music had that American folk sound. Major key, that kind of thing. And I and a few other people tried to get her to think a little bit more traditionally Jewish, about Jewish music, and maybe write some things in minor keys. And this is one of her attempts, and this has become a beloved melody in the key of G minor. Great key to write in, yes. 2, 3, 4. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Next part. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael imeru amen. This does not have al kol yoshvei tevel, but she did write a version with those words. Okay. Gender.
So there's
And not by might.
there are two things. Debbie became the leader, certainly in the mid-1980s, of saying to us, we got to take a look at our texts, and if the texts exclude people, we have to make adaptations to those texts without killing off the song. And there's a lot of pushback for that also. But the first example here is Not by Might, which is a 1970s song of hers, very popular, but another song will rise. But she had to figure out what does she do about the word man.
Shall all men live in peace?
It's sort of like trying to change the words to God Bless America. What do you do with brotherhood? You know, it's so much a part of all men are. So this is her attempt early on to do that. And then we're going to follow it with two other pieces, which are her explicit feminist expressions, where she's identifying important female Jewish leaders from the past in writing songs about them. Miriam's song as an intro to Micha Mocha, and Arise Devorah. So this is a real transitional awakening moment for her.
So here is Debbie talking about changing the lyrics of Not by Might.
I was doing
Oh,
a
I'm
sound
sorry.
check,
That-
and
oh,
I was
yes, it
singing
is. Okay.
Not by might, not by power, and I was singing, but by
Turn the volume
spirit alone shall all men live in peace. And some,
Um,
Can we get more
it
volume?
needs to be louder.
Yeah.
Then okay, here it comes.
I was doing a sound check, and I was singing Not by might, not by power, and I was singing, but by spirit alone shall all men live in peace. And some woman, I can't remember who it was, gave a geschrei from the back of the room and said, it's all people. You can't sing all men anymore because we're men and women and we're all people. You have to sing people. So I realized at that point that she was right. I had to start changing the language, at which point I changed it that night when I did the performance. And I said, we're going to change the lyric, and I sang, shall we all live in peace? And it caught on, and we did it.
One of the things that we have, I think, forgotten with the passage of time is that because now we have prayer books and Torah commentaries that have what we used to call gender-neutral language. Now we would call it equity, sensitive, whatever. Okay. But it was the Wild West back then. Everybody was changing things willy-nilly on their own, on the fly. And it was very confusing, and every prayer leader would have to take the text in front of them and figure out what to do with them, to do with it. We're going to skip this particular video, and we're going to sing Not by Might. This is is taken from the Haftarah for Hanukkah by Zechariah. 1, 2, here we go. Not by might and not by power, but by spirit alone. Clap, clap, shall we all live in peace. peace. Let's do that again. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Do the special clapping. Goes like this. Children sing, the children dream, but their tears may fall, but we'll hear them call, and another song will rise. Another song will rise. Another song will rise. Not by might and not by power, Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Not by might, not by power. Shalom. I don't know why.
Notice we all live in peace. The person has suggested, shall all people live in peace? But she's poetic. We need something much more concise.
Oh, right into Miriam's song?
Go right into it.
Okay. Is this her singing it? No, it's us singing it. Remember what film this is from? Prince of Egypt.
Which did not have a Debbie Friedman song in it, but no. It had a, who wrote the score for Prince of Egypt? Yeah, it had the Micha Mocha in it.
Let me remember what key this is in. Yeah, well, we'll keep it on the low side. 1, 2, 3. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. Miriam was a weaver of unique variety.
The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history.
With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. Whoops, chorus, here it is. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. When Miriam stood upon the shore and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. We're just going to cut that short so we can move on. There's our heroine, Miriam. And here is the next chapter, I guess, in Debbie's great Jewish women of the Torah. And this is the judge Deborah. And this is Devorah's song. And this was written, trivia, for Deborah Lipstadt, who's now a special ambassador to confront anti-Semitism, because Deborah was about to go on trial in England for libel for calling out this Holocaust denier. And Deborah won. Deborah Lipstadt won, and Debbie Friedman wrote this song.
Devorah the prophet, a woman of fire, her torch in hand. She led the Israelites to victory. Barak said, Devorah, I cannot fight unless you are standing right by my side. Devorah the prophet, Devorah, a mother in Israel. Everyone, arise, arise. Devorah, arise, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise. Devorah, Uri, Uri.
Okay, back to National Public Radio. Healing.
So we had theme number 1 sort of was the universality, how quickly her stuff spread. Theme number 2 was her bringing sort of a feminist language and mindset and sensitivity into synagogue music and Jewish music in general. But this is a whole new direction for her, and the direction is healing, which was not a topic that we talked about in Reform synagogues. We did not, the Misha Berach doesn't show up in the Union Prayer Book, and it doesn't show up in Gates of Prayer, 1975. It's even in the books you're using now, you had to paste it in the back of the book. So this whole notion of using worship as an opportunity to allow people to express their hopes and prayers for healing, well, there was always a one-liner in the Amida, but Debbie raised it up a real notch. And this is, again, her conversation with Robert Siegel on NPR.
In the world of Jewish music, Debbie Friedman has achieved something rare. Some of her pieces have become part of weekly services in synagogues of the Reform, Conservative, and Reconstructionist movements. Most notably, a prayer for healing called Misha Berach, the one who blesses.
And let us say,
Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach speaks volumes about American Judaism today. Her lyrics refer to our mothers as well as our fathers. It's the inclusive language of the 1990s. The words glide from Hebrew to English and back to Hebrew. Her concerts aren't so much performances to the audience as communal events, part sing-along, part healing service. And that is her central theme, healing.
Should we sing the prayer or skip the prayer and move on? Daniel?
Well, maybe it'll help my throat.
Okay.
Yeah, Debbie always wanted to sing the first verse alone, but she couldn't get her audiences to shut up. So she would start and she'd stop. She'd sing, this verse is for you. Translated, please be quiet.
Before you go on, I'm sorry, but some of us were actually in Houston at that biennial where Debbie was supposed to sing that night and couldn't. And you brought her out on stage and you talked about that, her asking everybody to listen to her sing, and you asked her to listen to all of us sing. And I got to tell you, there was not a dry eye in that house. Oh my gosh. Yeah, right? Sharon was there, Mark and Ron were there.
Yeah.
And I have one little story. I was backstage with Debbie before a concert at a biennial, and we were short on time and going over the set list, and I said, well, do you need to sing Misha Berach? Can we leave that out? She said, what? Are you kidding? No, I'm not going to leave that out. So she felt very strongly about this. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
I'm going to pause here. There's so much on this page. First of all, you start in Hebrew. Then the Hebrew gets adapted to include Imotenu. Then it goes back to English. This is before congregations were singing out loud in English again. It recovers part of our classical reform roots. So there's so much going on here. And clearly the synagogue world was ready for this.
Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
There's even a theological change here, the last two lines. Renewal of body, that's in the standard Refuah Shlema prayer after the Torah reading, but she has the renewal of spirit. She's talking about mental health, emotional health here. So there's so much going on. How much music can change communities and change what we think about. It's now traditional here.
We saw that already. 1986 was a pivotal, 85-86, a pivotal year for Debbie. She had been studying with a number of feminist teachers, philosophers, poets, and she teamed up with the woman on the left whose name is Sabina Tuval, the late Sabina Tuval, who wanted to have a ceremony called a Simchat Chochmah, a coming of age in her senior years, I think 65 perhaps. She wanted almost like a second bat mitzvah to announce her attaining the age of wisdom or what have you. So she wrote the poem that we sing called Lechi Lach, Sabina on the left. Debbie did not write those words, but Debbie set it to music. And then it, along with some other important songs like Miriam's song and Misha Berach, were recorded for this album. That is Debbie's grandma, who she called Bubby, and whenever Debbie did a concert, her grandma was in attendance, Debbie would always point her out and say, "Where's Bubby?" And I guess that's where we're going to end, or almost end. Are we ready?
Sure.
I know we sang this last night. We might sing it tonight. We might sing it tomorrow. I love incorporating art when I teach some of these biblical scenes. I love this scene of Abraham and his family. That is actually what he looked like, by the way. It's a photograph. It's been colorized because they didn't have color then, only black and white. Yeah. This was very, very radical. It's one thing to add English as a commentary, on the text, but Debbie didn't mind. She just changed Sabina did it, but to change Torah text in Hebrew, that took a lot of gumption, a lot of
and
chutzpah.
to give the opening line is Lechilach, followed by the male version, Lech Lecha.
Yeah. Lechilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech Lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechilach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing.
Lechilach, and I shall make your name great. Lech Lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechilach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, you shall be a blessing. The line L'simchat chayim was originally L'simchat chochmah, the ceremony that it was written for, and then changed so that it could be a little more universal. I thought we might conclude with So in Tears. A very special song of Debbie's. I've never been able to confirm that she wrote this song
in light of the 9/11 attack. But there certainly was a confluence, and the song was very appropriate. And since that time, this song is pretty much dedicated to the victims of that occasion. Time, yes. In the 21st century, right?
I mean,
So-
this carries the healing theme forward to folks who have lost someone, and how do they cope with it, and how do you deal with your grief?
Yeah. So this text is what we sing before Birkat Hamazon. Shir Hamalot B'Shuv Adonai Het Shivat Zion Hayinu B'Chol. But Debbie isolated these 4 Hebrew words, Hazorim, Bedima, Barina, Yiktzoru, which is, Rabbi,
Hazorim, the sowing, bedima,
Tears.
crying,
Rina in song.
is joy, and Yiktzoru is
the
reaping, is
plowing.
the harvest.
Yes, the plowing and the reaping. Okay, is that what we have?
Yep.
Oh, this is it, actually. Nothing more. So let us sing. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Then in Hebrew, Hazorim, Bedima, Berina, Yiktzoru, Hazorim, Tears, Bedima, Berina,
Yiktzoru. You go back to those
who sow
bedima,
in tears will reap in joy.
Yiktzoru, Hazorim,
In tears will reap in joy.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.